take a quick second and picture the walls of your office. Or, if you're remote, maybe the digital background of your company's intranet. Chances are you are going to see a beautifully designed poster. Maybe it features a mountain climber, and it lists out these bold core values: integrity, innovation, respect. But let me ask you something absolutely critical. Does your company actually have a great culture, or do you just have a really great value statement? Because there's often a massive, glaring difference between those glossy posters on the wall and the gritty, day-to-day reality of what an employee actually experiences. Let's be real. A ping-pong table and some free snacks in the break room do not make up for a toxic manager. So if you've ever felt that disconnect yourself, you are definitely not alone. Welcome to this explainer. As we dug into the source material for this one, we uncovered a truly fascinating dynamic. It turns out organizational culture is literally never neutral. It's either proactively designed by intentional leaders, or it just accidentally defaults to whoever happens to be the loudest or whatever the current crisis demands. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to stop letting culture just happen to you and start intentionally engineering the environment you actually want to work in. Here is our roadmap for the explainer. 1. Default versus designed culture. 2. The culture map framework. 3. The reality of behavior gaps. 4. Accelerators and decelerators. 5. The power of culture signals. And 6. Moving from reactive to intentional. There is a powerful takeaway from the research that really anchors this entire concept. It says organizational culture isn't accidental. It's shaped every day by leadership behaviors, decisions, and systems. I absolutely love this quote because it completely strips away the excuse that culture is just some vague, mystical vibe floating through the air vents. It's an active creation. If your culture is toxic, well, it's being shaped that way. If it's thriving, it's being shaped that way too. All right, section 1. Default versus designed culture. So what exactly happens when leaders take their hands off the steering wheel? A default culture takes over, and it almost always presents with 3 very clear symptoms. First up is misalignment. This is when what leaders say and what employees actually experience simply do not match. The values are stated, sure, but they're never actually lived. Second is disengagement. People might show up, they might clock in, but they are totally disconnected from the mission, the work, and from each other. And the third symptom is inconsistency. This is when your entire experience of the company depends on which department you happen to work in, who your manager is, or honestly just what day of the week it is. The sheer contrast here between a culture left entirely to chance and one built with real purpose is night and day. Look at a default culture. Everything is reactive. You're constantly just putting out fires and responding to crises. Engagement is completely unpredictable. But then, look over at the designed culture. It's intentional. Values aren't just things you state. They are firmly embedded in daily behaviors. Engagement is consistently high. There's a strong, genuine sense of belonging, and the employee experience actually feels cohesive across the whole organization. Moving into section 2, the culture map framework. So the source material breaks the culture map down into 4 key areas, and it all starts with results. Results are the true anchor of all culture work. You have to ask yourself, what outcomes actually define a thriving culture here? We are talking about measurable things: increases in engagement, reduced voluntary turnover, high performance, and employees actually reporting a real sense of belonging. Without getting crystal clear on these success metrics, your culture work is going to be completely aimless. You absolutely need a measuring stick. The second part of the map is observable behaviors. Remember, your culture doesn't live in a PDF employee handbook. It lives in daily actions. What do people actually say and do? Think about it. Do leaders lose their temper the second things go wrong? Who gets recognized? And exactly what are they being recognized for? Does feedback flow freely, or is it quietly suppressed? These everyday observable behaviors are the real heartbeat of your organization. Section 3. The reality of behavior gaps. This brings us to a very real tension point. We call it the behavior gap. It is the literal space between what we say we value and what our employees actually experience on the ground. Imagine a company proudly proclaiming, "We value innovation and transparency." But then the employees will tell you, every new idea gets shut down immediately, and we certainly don't ask the boss any hard questions. Identifying the specific gap in your own organization is definitely the most painful part of culture design, but it is 100% the most necessary step. Section 4. Accelerators and Decelerators. Let's start with the good news here. Your accelerators. These are the invisible forces already working in your favor. A huge mistake leaders make is thinking they have to build a great culture completely from scratch.
You really don't. Look around for a senior leader who is already modeling the right behavior. Seek out those high-trust teams where psychological safety already exists, and this is my favorite part, find the hero stories in your company that perfectly embody the culture you want and amplify them. Build on the momentum that is already there. But on the flip side, you also have to face your decelerators. These are the forces actively blocking your progress. This could be structural barriers, like maybe a compensation system that rewards ruthless individual performance right when you're trying to promote teamwork. It could be an underlying climate of silence and fear. Or perhaps the most insidious decelerator of them all, legacy norms. You know the dreaded phrase, well, that's just how we've always done it here. Intentional leaders do not ignore these roadblocks. They specifically name them, and then they dismantle them. Section 5. The power of culture signals. This is a game changer. Every single day, leaders are sending culture signals. Sometimes they are totally intentional, but very often they are completely unintentional. These everyday micro moments are the true drivers of your workplace culture because they tell your employees what is actually valued in the building, completely regardless of what the posters on the walls say. Let's look at some very specific real-world examples. Think about who gets promoted. That instantly signals the behaviors leadership truly rewards. How is failure handled? That signals whether risk-taking is actually safe or if it's just corporate lip service. Take a look at your next meeting. Who speaks? Whose voice is genuinely valued, and whose gets consistently talked over? And how is urgency handled? Do your core values hold up under intense pressure, or do they quietly evaporate the absolute second a deadline looms? Trust me, your employees are watching these signals like hawks.
Section 6. From reactive to intentional.
So how do we fix this? It boils down to a brilliant, super empowering 3-step action plan. Step 1, name it. Get incredibly specific about what your culture looks like in action. Don't just say, we value respect. Define exactly what respect looks like when someone strongly disagrees in a meeting. Step 2, map it. Find your results, observe your behaviors, and get brutally honest with yourself about those gaps between stated values and lived experience. And step 3, move it. Just make one system-level change. Adjust a single process or meeting norm. One small, highly visible change sends a massive new culture signal.
If you want to kickstart this alignment process right now, today, here are 5 practical strategies from the sources. Number 1, start a genuine open culture conversation with your team. Number 2, audit just one single system through a culture lens, something like how you do your performance reviews. 3, identify the champions in your office who naturally embody the good stuff. 4, make one desired behavior highly visible. And 5, make absolutely sure you are measuring what actually matters. Remember, real culture change doesn't require some perfect, flawless master plan. It literally just requires a first intentional move. To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with a direct challenge. Think about your own workplace right now. What is one culture signal you've recently noticed? Think of a micro moment where the true values of your organization were laid totally bare, whether it was positive or negative. Once you spot it, the real question is, what is one single action you will take this week to start designing the culture you actually want to work in? Don't let your culture just default. Go design it.